Hello beautiful people and welcome to this week's video. So this week we're working on legs and we're also looking at complete devotion to the divine. So we can do that within our yoga practice with seeing ourselves and our bodies as divine and really just trying to focus positive thoughts and energy into our bodies as we practice. In this practice, you're going to need a thin cushion or a thick blanket, not too thick, which we're going to fold in half and use as to make it into a smaller but thicker cushion. Okay, so we're going to begin how we have been throughout the course, working with our hands. So we're going to inhale and really spread the fingers as wide as you can, and then we're going to make fists, really tight fists, and we're going to open and close the fists whatever speed you like. I'm going a little bit faster today, but you may not want to go this fast, so just do what feels right. I'm going to do it for a few seconds, not too long. And while we're doing this, remembering our true divinity, the sense of divine self. Lovely. So then we're going to open the fingers wide and then just release and drop the hands down onto the knees just for a moment, being there. Beautiful. So the next thing we're going to do is just going to come to sit down on the mat, but with the feet out in front, like this. And we're just going to have hands sort of slightly behind us, but out to the sides. And we're just going to let the knees roll over. So we're sending them as far as they'll go. So we're kind of twisting a bit here. And I can feel how that really opens up the outside of that leg there, and then coming round and doing it on the other side. So you can just do that a couple of times each way. Lovely. And then we're going to come down and lie onto our back, so into semi-supine. So just take a moment there with the hands, palms facing down, maybe just lift the head, look between the knees and then drop the head down, keeping the chin nice and down here. Breathing here for a moment, just being with what is. Beautiful. So we're going to open the arms up. This is just opening the chest a little bit. It's really good to do a bit of this, even though we're working on legs. And then we're going to bring the arms one across the other one, take them as far back as you can. Just breathing there, give yourself a little hug, then open up the arms and come back the other way. So cross them over the other direction, giving yourself another hug. So from here we're going to raise the right foot and put it on top of the left knee, and then just gently push that knee out, the right knee out a little bit, opening up this hip but also the top of the leg there. And then we're just going to see if we can lift the other foot off the ground, and this is really good for opening up the top of this right leg. And then you can either thread the needle through the back of that knee or through the front of it, if that's available to you. If neither of those are available to you, you can bring your hand through here, but you're really meant to be keeping that that knee outwards, so make sure that you're doing that if you're doing that one. And then while we're here, we're going to try and just drop the shoulders down, just feeling the opening of the top of the right leg there. Beautiful. So just drop that foot down again to the ground, opening the arms again, And so what we're going to do now is we're going to cross the arms over again. We're going to take the opposite hand on top. So I've got that leg on top. So I'm going to bring the opposite arm on top. So it's coming nearest to my head. Doing that hug thing. But then from here, we're going to see if we can come into the eagle arms. Now, if that's not possible for you, you can just have the backs of your hands together and that's fine. If you can do the eagle arms, that's good. And then we just raise the arms up if they'll go a little bit above the face there. Beautiful. So we're going to open the arms again, swap over the legs, so bring the other ankle on top, pressing that left knee away. And then we're going to raise that knee up, the bottom leg up, and only if it feels good for you, taking your arms wherever you want to come into that beautiful stretch. I feel that's a bit much for me actually. I'm going to go back to that one because this means that I can now drop my shoulders down, which is really important. And this elbow is kind of helping to push that leg out a little bit. Couple of breaths here, and then we're just going to drop the lower foot down to the ground, arms out. So we're just going to do that crossing thing the other way. So this time I've got my right arm on top because my left leg is on top. And then coming into whichever version of these arms suits you. Raising the arms up. Beautiful. So we're going to just uncross and then cross again. So we're taking the first side leg over. Only this time we're going to actually send that leg all the way over. So as if I'm sitting in a chair. And then from here, I'm going to just drop the knees down. So it takes us into a bit more of a twist. And you can even bring the opposite hand to knee, if you like, looking over the other arm. And this is just a lovely opening of the whole body, but it does also open out the outside of this leg. So just working in a way that suits you. If crossing your legs over here doesn't work for you, then just do it with your legs uncrossed. So we're going to just do it the other way. So if it works better for you just to do it without the legs crossed, then do that. If you're happy to cross the legs over, and then coming in here, if you want to take this hand onto that knee, you can, but it's not. You don't have to. This is an opening of the whole of the body. It does open the top of this leg, but it's also a beautiful stretch all the way around the hips and everything. So it's a lovely one to do to open. Because we need to open the whole body when we begin these practices. Lovely. So from here, we're going to come up to sitting. And I like to have a block, soft block underneath my bottom, just the back of my bottom, just to help me sit up. And this is where you're going to need your cushion. So we're going to get this cushion. Okay, we're going to fold it in half, or if it's a blanket, just make it into a long shape. And you're going to take it underneath the knees. So it sits underneath the knees. In this position, we're going to, as we exhale, just lift the heels. And we're just breathing here, 5 breaths here. And what this does is it really strengthens these muscles on the thigh muscles here, which is really good for the knees. So letting go again, having a little bit, maybe having a wiggle. And then we'll do it again, 5 breaths. Trying to stay in the position. If it's too much, you can always come out before the end of 5 breaths. And then resting down. Beautiful. So that's really strengthening for these muscles here at the front of the legs. Now what we're going to do is we're going to transition round to downward dog. So coming into all fours, tucking the back toes and sunray fingers here, and we're going to just lift up the hips, keeping the knees nice and bent to begin with. And then we're just going to drop down, dropping the body down, keeping the knees bent, trying to think about the shoulders moving towards the knees, letting go of the head, shaking the head, just letting the neck go. And then we're just going to do some little hamstring stretches. So we're going to just straighten one leg, let that heel drop to the ground, let the other knee bend, and then swapping over. So just doing this 2 or 3 times on each leg. Beautiful. And then we're going to drop down again to all fours. So you're going to need your, if you've got a cushion or something, I would recommend that you have it now for coming under your knees. So we're going to come to all fours. We're just going to do a little bit of cat and cow. So inhaling, looking forwards, exhaling, looking between the knees. So if you want to do a bit more of this, please do. We're going to be spending longer on it in the class. But then we're going to come up to a high kneeling position. So coming up, so you're kneeling like this with the tops of the feet down. We're going to inhale, bringing the arms out to the sides. And then as we exhale, we're going to engage the Mula Bandha, and we're going to move the body back for as far as you can easily go. And then inhaling, coming forward. Exhaling, so you'll be feeling how the thigh muscles will be really engaging here on the exhale as you move back. Once more, exhaling backwards, just going as far as you can go. You'll really feel it in the thigh muscles, and then coming forward. Beautiful. Okay, so from here, we're then going to untuck the toes. We're going to sit back onto the feet. We're going to take the hands behind, and you can take them down to the ground like this. And then from here, we're going to raise up the hips and just breathing here. And again, what this has done, we've just been strengthening the thighs, and now we're opening them, stretching them. Don't stay there any longer than feels okay for you. So coming down and rest, that's beautiful. Lovely. And then from here, we're going to take a big step forward. So stepping forward with the right foot, so we come into a nice high lunge here, a low lunge even. And then we're going to drop the hands down either side of that foot. Just being here for a moment, feeling those legs doing whatever they're doing. And then we're going to exhale and moving the body backwards. So we're going to move the body backwards, keeping the toes pointed to begin with, and then rolling on the back onto that heel. And if this feels too much for you, you can always keep that leg bent there. But if this doesn't feel enough, which for me I could have a bit more, so you can then just bring your hands forward to just let your body sink a bit, and then now I can really feel that in there. Beautiful. So then from here, we're going to step forward. We're going to just come back into the low lunge here, tucking that back foot, and then from here, we're going to try and stand up. So just see how you do. Just raising up, hands onto hips. You can bring the back foot in a bit if you need, because we want to have both legs bent, but raised up. And we're going to inhale, and we're going to straighten both legs. And we can even try and take that heel back. And then exhale, bending both legs. Inhaling, straightening, taking that heel back. Exhale, engage the Mula Bandha as you drop down. Inhale, straighten, taking that heel back. Exhale, down. Last time. Inhaling up, exhale, engage the Mula Bandha, and then we can drop that, hit that knee down, and then we can come and have a little rest. So you can come and take knees a little wider than your block or cushion, dropping the hips back, and just let yourself flop. You might be on your hands or your head might be on the mat. Beautiful, just let yourself go. So if you need more of a rest, just push pause, but we're going to do the other side. So I've turned around so that my way is open to you this way. I'm going to take stepping forward with the left foot, hands either side of that foot, and then I'm going to move the body back, keeping the toes pointed to begin with, and then rolling back on that heel, and knee bent if it's too much for you. If you need more, you can take the hands forward and let the body drop down a little bit. Couple of breaths there. Beautiful. So then we're going to move back into this low lunge here, making sure the back toe is tucked. And we're going to see if we can stand up. So standing up, bringing that back foot in if you need to, hands onto the hips, both legs bent. Inhaling, straightening both legs, taking that heel back. Exhaling, Mula Bandha, bending both legs. Inhale, straightening, take that heel back. Exhale, Mula Bandha. Inhale up. Exhale, Mula Bandha. Last time, inhale up. Exhale, Mula Bandha. Beautiful. Bringing that knee down. And we'll come again and have a little rest. So dropping down, doing whatever you need to, taking the time you need, pausing the video if you need to. And now we're going to come up to standing. So coming up to standing, and we're just going to take a moment into Tadasana. So looking down at your feet, make sure that they're about hip width apart. Just maybe roll the shoulders back, give your hands a little bit of a wiggle. Just taking a moment there. Beautiful. And then we're just going to do a couple of things. We're just going to raise up onto our tiptoes and dropping down. It's good for balance, but it's also really strengthening for the legs. So raising up and dropping down. One more of those. Raising up and dropping down. Beautiful. So now we're just going to do some leg lifts. So just lifting one leg and then the other a few times and then doing it outwards. A couple of times. And then what my lovely yoga teacher sometimes does is going opposite hand to knee. Beautiful. Lovely. So then we're just going to do a tree and eagle pose. So from here, we start off with tree. So taking the weight into your left foot, and we can start by just raising the right ankle, just turning the right foot out and just putting the right heel onto the left ankle, making sure that your left foot's pointing forwards. And then from here, that can be your tree if it's hard to balance, or you can bring, she says nearly falling over, or you can bring your foot up onto your calf muscle there. And that's a good tree. You can have your hands up wherever you want. If you want to do more, then that's fine, but no, not onto the knee. So if you want to come up and have your foot on your thigh, the inside of your thigh, if that works for you, you can do that. You can always have a chair to hold on to you, next to you. So this is really good for the standing leg. You know, we're just standing on one leg. It's also brilliant for balance. So remembering that we need to wobble to find our balance. So if you're wobbling, that's fine. Lovely. So now you can either bring the foot down and have a rest, or if you can, come down, keep that leg up. I'm bending this knee, and I'm then going to bring that foot over the top. I can't take it behind, but I can just twist the foot, the foot a bit. So we did this at the beginning. I've got the right leg on top, so I'm going to have the left arm on top, giving myself that hug and then coming into the eagle arms. And just spend as long as you can there. Whoa, she says, I've gone. That was long enough. Beautiful. So we'll do it on the other side. So, Tadasana to begin with. And then we're going to turn that left knee out, taking the ankle, the heel to the ankle. And then maybe just coming up to here, if that feels good for you. Or if you want to lift this leg up and that suits you, then doing that. It's really good to have a drishti, which is a focal point, somewhere where you look. You keep your eyes focused on a particular point. That can really help with focusing. Okay, so we're going to come through into eagle, or you can always bring your foot down and have a rest. But if you can, just bring the foot round. So this time I've got the right leg on top, so I'm going to have the left arm on top and coming into my eagle arms here. And a couple of breaths here. Beautiful. Wonderful. So hopefully you all did your best. Nobody can expect anything else. We're going to come down now, do a couple of counter poses, and then come into our relaxation. Okay, so make your way down to the mat. We're going to come and lie down on the mat. We'll just bring the knees up into the chest and have a little rock on the back from side to side, gently on the back of the pelvis. And then we're just going to drop the hands down to the floor, palms facing down, soles of the feet behind the bottom, curling up the tailbone, coming up into a bridge pose, not going too far, because we're doing counters here, so they're meant to be nice and gentle, coming back down on the exhale. So inhale, curling up the tailbone, lifting the hips, and exhale, dropping back down. And then we can just bring the arms out to shoulder height and just drop the legs down to one side, looking along the other knee, arm even, coming up to the top and going the other way. Beautiful. And then just doing whatever your body needs. You might need a stretch or whatever you need before you then come into Shavasana. So just taking your feet about mat width apart, hands down by the sides of the body with the palms facing up, and letting go. So staying here for as long as you like. Just because I move, it doesn't mean you need to. You can fall asleep here if you like. Lovely. So thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. If you would like to support me because you're not coming to class and you would like to make a donation, I put the back's details in the email, and you are really welcome to donate. So hopefully see some of you at some point. Lots of love. Namaste.